Hello, welcome back to this channel or welcome to this channel. My name is Jackie and I'm obsessed with planners and journals. Today, I'm finally here to share with you my 2021 bullet journal setup. I know I'm super late to the party, but I was just taking my time with it, and I actually started this at the beginning of the month, but only finished it yesterday, so I was really taking my time with it. So this time I decided to move from a B6 to a B5 size, so it's a huge difference, and I'm still trying to learn how to create my spreads in this little big notebook. So it's been an adventure, but I'm really happy about it. And I decided to go with this beautiful Archer and Olive B5. This is a Neapolitan. It is the Silver B limited edition, and I actually decided to go with this because I just fell in love with the cover and I knew I had to use it. And of course, I'm super nervous about it being a Neapolitan, which means it has 3 different types of paper inside, but I guess I need an adventure and a challenge, so I'm excited about that as well. And I do have a rewards link for the Archer and Olive website, and check the description down below if you want to see how you can get 15% off your first purchase. And I'm already starting my first spread. I love decorating the cover, and this time I decided to create this little fold out thing so it can be accessible whenever I'm planning my weeklies. And on the other side, I'm just going to write down my key. It's basically just the bullet journal method key, so nothing special in here. But this side where I just stamped 21 before 21, I'm just going to write down 21 things that I want to get done before 2021. Oh my god, this is hard to say. And I want it to be accessible whenever I'm planning my weeklies, so that's just perfect for a fold out thing. And as you probably already saw on the title, my theme is Années, Folles, and I'm sorry, I know I'm pronouncing it wrong because I cannot pronounce anything in French, unfortunately, but I decided, since this is my first full year setup on a bullet journal and I didn't really get to celebrate the entrance in the Roaring 20s again, and I guess no one did, but anyhow, I decided to go with this theme, but I'm adding some of my personal style to it. So instead of using gold accents, I will be using silver, and I will be also celebrating Josephine Baker because I'm so in love with her. She was just amazing, and I think when I think about the 20s, especially in France, I can always think about her. So yeah, that's the whole concept for this setup. And I'm also trying to celebrate some of the avant-garde movements that came out in the 20s. So here on the left side, I just printed out this illustration from an exhibition in Paris, and here now I'm working on a recreation of Salvador Dali's painting called The Moon, and this was from 1929, but I will try to kind of recreate Josephine Baker's face in The Moon, if you know the painting I'm referring to, and if you don't, I will leave a link for the painting down below. I did not did a very good job, but I was doing my best. It was really hard, and it was at this moment that I realized that this first paper in the Archer and Olive notebook is not the same as the rest of the book, so it was just bleeding the watercolor, and I will get back to that later on because I had to recreate the whole page at the back. It was not completely bad, but it was of course interfering, and yeah, it was bothering me a little bit, but I'm just trying to finalize this paint, and then I went back later on off camera and just painted over the moon with some color pencils. So now I'm moving on to what was supposed to be my cover page, but I guess the first painting that I tried here is also a cover page, so I'm not very good with that bullet journal terminology yet, but I decided to recreate one of Paul Collins' illustration of Josephine Baker for her memoirs. I think they were published in 1927, and I just love this illustration so much, and I thought I would be able to recreate it in some way, but you can see here all the bleed through from the previous page. And I'm also adding some watercolor bananas because if you didn't know, Josephine Baker was born in America, but she became famous in France and in Europe, and she was a performer, entertainment, dancer. She was just unbelievably talented, and she was also a singer, and I was actually creating this whole setup just listening to her songs, so I will leave the playlist down below as well if you wanna check that out. But not only was she this incredible performer and very talented woman, she was also part of the French resistance and also part of the civil rights movement in the United States. So she was truly inspiring, so I thought it would be just perfect to have my 2021 bullet journal inspired by her. And here I'm just writing down all the calendar because I love doing that. It relaxes me even though my hand hurts afterwards. I really love that. And I just stamped the months of the year, but I will also later on change a couple of things in here because I decided to recreate that illustration because the bleed out of the watercolor on the previous page was bothering me a lot, so I just went ahead and changed it a little bit, as you will see in the flip through. Now we are moving on to what I like to call my meta spread because it is a bullet journal spread about bullet journal spreads basically. So I just leave space for a miniature of each of my cover pages for each month of 2021. So I'm just creating 12 little squares, and on the left side I will write down all the ideas I have for monthly themes so I won't forget them. And we are now moving on to my future log, which is the most important spread in my bullet journals. I started bullet journal back in July of this year, so I'm still learning a lot, but I very soon realized I really depend upon my future log. So I'm really taking my time with this, even though I made a lot of mistakes, as you will probably see here. So I'm just using some stickers and scrapbook papers, actually leftover papers, just to cover it up and try to move on. And I'm also leaving space for each day of each month, so I will have plenty of space to write down appointments, deadlines, and everything I need to write down here. I will have 6 months per spread, so I'm actually using 4 pages or 2 spreads for this future log. And I was interrupted.
Just clean.
And this was the situation. So everything happens when I'm trying to set up my bullet journal. That's why it always takes me so long. But after that, I finished my future log, both pages, and just decided to add some borders to it. So it will kind of remind myself of that Roaring 20s theme, because right now I cannot actually see a cohesive thing going on with the future log. That's why I'm adding these finishing touches. Now I will start working on my health spread, where I will just track my insulin intake on the left side, and on the right side I'm going to track my period. It is my first time actually tracking this, so I'm not very sure how I'm going to do that, but I was just trying to bring that nighty sky from the really first page of my bullet journal, that page inspired by Salvador Dali's painting. So I'm just using some watercolors and acrylic paint as well, and I always let it dry and move on to other parts of the spread, and then I get back. So I know it's a little bit confusing, so I will probably just let you try to enjoy that and stop talking for a while. So now that I have another visitor, Vincent is here just to check if I'm not making any more mistakes, and I'm just finishing those spreads with some stamps and pens, and also trying to bring that same border, or at least a little bit of that 20s style here and there. By this point I was super tired, so when Vincente wanted to just cuddle, I took it as a sign to take a break and went back the next day. I'm now moving on to my savings spread. It is my first time doing this type of spread, and to be honest, I think I created a lot of pages I'm not sure I'm going to use throughout the year. It was just my first time setting up for a new year, and I think I just got carried away, and we will see. But I really need to start being more mindful about how I spend my money, especially on stationery, because it is my hobby and I can get really excited and spend a lot of money on that. So that's why I'm trying this spread. And now we are moving on to my books and movies spread, and here I'm just doing a tracker. It's kind of a to be read list and a tracker at the same time. So I will just go ahead and write down all the books I want to read for the next year, and then I will mark down when I started and when I finished that book. I think this way I can be more mindful and keep myself accountable for actually reading the books I started, because I tend to start a lot of books and never finish them. And I decided to go with these really beautiful Scott Fitzgerald cover of The Beautiful and Damned, because that's just 20s, and the Fitzgerald had to appear here at some point, and I just printed that at my printer as well. I was just too tired at this point to try and create a spread from ink or try to paint something, so that's what I did. And I made a lot of mistakes in that spread as well, and I changed it once again, and you will see at the flip through. And these two are the last ones I'm going to be sharing here today. Is just my task and my brain dump. I really use this section actually, and maybe I should have left more space to them, but I'm really glad how they turned out at the end. After finishing everything, I was not feeling all the spread, so I just went back with a silver gel pen to add some little touches here and there, as you will see very soon in the flip through. It's now finally time for the flip through. Thank you so much if you watched it until now. I know you have already set up your bullet journal, but I don't know, I just wanted to share, especially because I wanted to talk a little bit about Josephine Baker, and this is how it turned out. I've changed a lot of spreads. It was really hard for me to finish this spread. It was difficult because of the new size, and also my mind was just in 2021 already, and also during the holidays I just wanted to chill and not be filming and editing, so I'm really sorry about that. And I also created a spread for Zelda because it's Zelda and the 20s. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.